I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday morning or Wednesday night for hanging out with us. Hope you had a lovely night. I actually didn't place a bet tonight. I like both dogs in the college football game, so had I placed them, I would have went 1-1 because Middle Tennessee got the cover. Did you guys have any? Oh no, Jim, you said you were having a good NBA night, but this Minnesota's coming back, by the way.
Well, it's dumb having go 4-0 but have 2 units on the late game. The double result is so costly. When you double down on the double result, it's a beautiful little bonus. But when it goes against you, it feels like a punch in the face.
It's down to a 3-point game right now.
Well, I'd like it to go to overtime.
I feel like if there's any sport where the double result is the most dangerous, or I've had the least amount of success personally, it's the NBA.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
I would need to look at it like what is the percentage of the team that's winning at halftime doesn't win the full game, and
right.
You're right.
But yeah, we obviously there's no baseball tomorrow, so we'll talk about the World Series tomorrow. I'm sure the lines are open for that though, for anyone trying to bet it. Yeah, the lines are open. It probably opened up right after the game ends. That game, we're in game 6 now. Toronto's up 3-2.
That's insane. That is insane, bro.
Yeah, wow, an affordable price with the Dodgers and Yamamoto. You can get a -135 right now with Yamamoto.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm taking the Dodgers in that. Spoilers. All right, we're talking NFL, though. Got 5 games queued up. I do have bets in 2 of the 5 that you picked. 2 of the games you picked. Yo, Rams Saints. What are we about to talk about? What are we about to talk about in Rams Saints?
There's a lot to talk about, Kyle. There's a lot to talk about that game.
Yeah, well, that's the 4th one on the board. We're starting out Denver, Houston. Not sure where you guys are going to go with it. I think the line being shaded towards Houston makes sense, and I think Houston actually wins the game. So I would lean towards Houston. I'm going to put under up for me though, but I'm all ears. Take it away, whoever wants to go first.
Troy, why don't you fire away, man? But we're lockstep in this one.
Yeah, we're lockstep in this one. This is definitely one of my favorite sides of the week. First of all, you got the home team flipping from a dog to a favorite, and it's just a great environment to back the home team. As long as you're not getting through the 3, that seems to be pretty key in this market type. And this is a situation where I backed this Broncos team with 3 units, 3 different bets on this Broncos team last week against the Cowboys in a absolute gift spot for the market, and now I'm looking to fade them. Where I basically start every handicap this season is just for both Jimmy and I, home road functionality. And the Broncos haven't played a true road game since October 5th at Philly, where they pulled one out of their ass in the 4th quarter. They're coming off wins against the Cowboys, the Giants, and the Jets. 2 of the 3 wins there were underwhelming and generally bad performances. There are 3 true road games this season. They lost to Indy, they lost to the Chargers, and they rallied from double digits to beat Philly, like I just said. And now they're going to go from on the road to play the best defense in the NFL. And one thing that I'm harping on this week is the contrast between the Cowboys defense and the Texans defense. And I think they're in for a rude awakening. I just can't imagine this Broncos offense has a lot of success. I know it's not like I'm going to try to make a case for the Texans offense against the Broncos defense. However, that cornerback Surtain being out is going to create a world of difference, because the Broncos like the blitz at one of the highest rates in the NFL. And when you got an island boy and he's out of the game, you can no longer take away half the field, or at least one receiver on the field. That's going to open a lot of other avenues up for an offense to be successful. And Bo Nix, he's been pressured at the lowest rate in the NFL this season, 22% of his dropbacks. And, his worst game this season came against the Giants. And that's the only good pass rush really that he's seen. That was his game with the lowest PFF grade, lowest completion percentage, lowest passer rating, lowest yards per attempt. I'm just going to put my faith in the contrast of, from the Cowboys at home in a smash spot on the road where the line is flipped. I think the bookies are putting the writing on the wall. Texans strength of schedule is 8th. Broncos strength of schedule is 25th. and I just think I have a perfect spot to take advantage of it. I'm on the Texans first half money line and full game money line.
What's the price on the first half money line?
I got -115. It's probably hovering around there still.
All right, and Jim, I heard you say you're in lockstep, so you're on Houston also.
I love the spot here. Just love it. 81% of tickets, 82% of the cash on the Broncos. Like Troy's saying, this is the time of year where we can actually, and this is the only time of year I really believe where you can take advantage of the statistical profile of teams. And you're going to hear both Troy and I on two sides on the show where we've doubled down on the sides because of what the team we're fading has done at home. And now we go out on the road. Also, the Surtain injury. Remember, we thought this was the no-fly zone 2. This pass defense is ranked 19th. You take Surtain out of it. Now, you can easily say, look, the Texans, without Nico, without Kirk, they're easy to stop. But they just got their first little boost of confidence. The only thing that scares me is I hammered the Texans last week. I had the Texans money line -128. I had the Texans double result at +175. That's the only thing. I just don't like going back and making the same bet. But the Texans gained so much confidence from that game. Had the ball for 41 minutes and 22 seconds. CJ Stroud at a season high 318 yards. Xavier Hutchinson steps up with 5 catches for 69 yards. Jalen Noel, 5 catches for 63 yards. Woody Marks had a good game catching the ball out of the backfield and running the ball.
And Jimmy, Nico Collins is going to be playing in this game too.
Are we sure about that? I was just going to ask.
We expect him to play, but at this point, Troy, these injury reports are so uncomforting.
Yeah.
Like, you get some confidence in the one spot. Like as you were talking, I went over the limited at practice concussion. I like to think anytime a concussion goes over the week, I never know if they're coming back the next week or they're going to be on IR for 4 weeks. But I think he'll be here. But this is all about optics. The Broncos, everybody loves them. You want to talk about a 33-point quarter against the Giants. Everyone talking about that. You want to talk about smash and grabbing Dallas. I mean, like you said, October 5th, they played at Philly. Look at this schedule. Look who they've played at home other than that impressive performance against Philly. They had the UK game where they beat the Jets 13-11. They beat Cincinnati at home 28-3 before Flacco got there. I mean, this is easy competition. And this Texans defense, Troy and I believe, is better than the records and the statistics indicate. They say they have the second best pass rush. I think, other people will battle this. People will tell you the Broncos pass rush is better, but PFF ranks them 9th, Texans 2nd. Then you have the third-ranked third down defense, 8th-ranked pass defense. I just think the better secondary is on Houston. The better pass rush is on Houston. Houston is at home. We're fading the public. I mean, it's a perfect storm here for the Houston Texans. I got first half and full game. I had to pay 5 cents more for the full game than Troy. I got the first half -115, full game -125.
So, I mean, I agree with a lot of what you guys said. And if I was forced to pick a side, it would be Houston. I just feel like the market's kind of already on top of it a little bit, making them short favorites. I would imagine these two teams, if you take away the spot, probably be Denver -2, -2.5 on a neutral. So in Houston, this should be maybe Denver -0.5. And I agree, I like the matchup for Houston. I like the spot for Houston. So I feel like the market's kind of already adjusted for that. And to bet a side in this one, I would need a +3 on either side. This reminds me of the Bucks game. It just has like 2019 written all over it. Whereas I don't even want to be on the end of that coin flip at the end, which is why I would prefer an under. I agree. So I agree in the fact that Houston would be the side if I was to take one. It's just the matchup between Vance Joseph and the blitz packages and that pass rush against CJ Stroud and that offensive line with no run support. It's it's something out of nightmares, man. I just can already see it in my head. CJ Stroud holding onto the football too long. And I hope to God Nico Collins plays, because if he doesn't, Patrick Surtain out there might not even make that big of a difference, because who else is going to beat the man coverage consistently? It would be Houston, so I don't disagree. I was providing reasons of why I took under instead of Houston.
Yeah, and the under is a very, very powerful low number. It's very, very. I love, low totals like this.
Yeah,
Hitting at a 40. I like it, but I think that we're taking advantage of the statistics that have been compiled in easy situations for Denver at home. It's that simple. So I think that this is a great price on the money line that I will take every day of the week.
And one thing that was not said either that I think should be is go look at the history of the Houston Texans with C.J. Stroud at quarterback at home versus on the road. The splits are the discrepancy is massive.
Just reminds me of that Bucs game.
Yeah, 2019.
It reminds me of that game where it was like I'm pretty sure we all picked Houston on that game too.
We did.
It just reminds me, and then that Texans team, that offense, he holds on to the ball and they figure out a way to lose the game, even though I agree. So, all right, I got a bet on this one. The number's kind of gone though, so I'm curious where your guys are going. I'm on over 47.5. So,
oh shit!
Yeah, so
you got a great number.
I was sniping this one early. I knew I wanted the over in this one last week. So yeah, I'm on over. I honestly still think it's playable if I'm being honest. But yeah, I'm on the over. Go ahead, take it away, guys.
So I don't think Jimmy has much on this one. So I'll take the lead on this. This is a game where I need a huge amount of conviction to move on the Steelers in this spot. Not only because I've been fading them week in and week out the past 3 weeks, but also because home dogs between 3 and 3.5 that open and close 3.5, they just do not perform well. I think sharps will come in on the Colts once they see the huge discrepancy in their model. I can't imagine a lot of models, any type of model is probably going to be given Colts. You're going to see value with the Colts in this spot. And the public will come in on the Colts after losing with the Steelers 2 weeks in a row. And I'm just going to be sitting here on Steelers Island with a smile on my face. And I've been a massive believer. I backed this Colts team 6 times, whether it be, straight up on the spread, team totals, or, with teasers. And I've been, like I said, fading the Steelers team. I just look at the Colts schedule and Jimmy and I have been talking about this. I feel like this is where you're able to take advantage. They have 4 wins against broken teams. The Dolphins week 1, the Raiders at home, and the Titans 2 times. They have 2 wins against below average teams. The Cardinals with Brissett, the Chargers that were on the last leg of their slide with no left tackle or right tackle. Khalil Mack, Perriman in the first game back. And, Henley was sick as a dog. And the only 3 road games they played this season were the Titans, the Rams, and the Chargers were broken. The Rams, they lost. And the Titans, that was the only game that they played outdoors. So this will be the second game that this team has played outdoors all season long. I think there's something to be said about an offensive, maybe Indiana Jones has a slip up. I really think it could be coming here. This team has absolutely been rolling. I'm not saying they're not a juggernaut. This is a team I believed in, especially their offense. So it's not like I'm really trying to make a case against their offense. I think they could falter here a little bit, but I really want to attack the Colts defense. The Colts are going to play cover 2, Tampa 2, and Aaron Rodgers has seen a lot of that, and I've watched him dice it up. There's going to be open guys running down the seams. Also, before I forget, 12 personnel, heavy sets, 3 tight ends. Nobody used heavy sets more than the Steelers. I think over 50% of their snaps this season, and the Colts. I know that you want to, in theory, spread them out, but it's not like they've been performing very well against those heavy sets. I think that, Aaron Rodgers has a good matchup. Being able to hit the seams, vertical routes in the seams. I think we're going to see a ton of stick dig and short option routes. And I think he's going to be able to find the soft spots in the zone. So you got the Colts who are 7-1, traveling to a hostile environment for the first time all season, unless you consider the Titans a hostile environment, because the Rams and the Chargers, that's not a true road game. And those aren't outdoors either. So this is an Alamo spot. The Steelers got to win this game. I have enough conviction. I made the move. I got the Steelers plus 3.5 at -120.
So in terms of buying low on the Steelers offense against the Colts defense, I'm all in. It's tough. It's tough to paint a picture where the Colts offense doesn't score religiously. The Steelers have been okay against the run, but the Colts are definitely guilty of playing a lot of bad teams. And I hear what you were saying when you were talking about the Colts wins. I mean, who are the Steelers wins, dude? The Jets that barely edged out.
That's they should have lost.
Yeah, they should have lost the Jets. The Browns coming back from Europe off a bye.
Yeah, trust me, Kyle. I've given out that spiel every single week. So
yeah, I think you could say the same thing about the Steelers, but
sure.
I don't hate buying low on the Steelers offense. I think Rodgers is going to score points on the Colts. It's just, I don't know last week was serious for the Steelers defense. They got cooked in the second half. Tomlin was so outcoached. I don't even remember seeing the Steelers make a single tackle in the second half. I feel like every single play was just a catch and running in open field for Green Bay. He was so outcoached in the second half, and that makes 2 games in a row. For a second there, it looked like the Steelers were kind of getting themselves together defensively. That makes back-to-back games against Joe Flacco and then the Packers where the Steelers defense got smoked. And I just don't know how we believe in that unit right now. The strength is still pressuring the passer. They can still pressure the passer, but based on what we've seen so far this year, Daniel Jones gets the ball out quickly, and he's actually handled pressure really well. And the Steelers have been decent against the run, but who's stopping Jonathan Taylor in that run game right now? I'm with you if you want to tell me the Steelers are going to score points, but as far as making stops, I'm not sure if I'm on the over, though. I'm not on the Colts. It's just tough to paint a picture for the Steelers defensively. Jim?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about the over a lot with Troy. The problem that I had with it was you look at the last 3 Colts games, 58, 62, and 52. The last 2 Steelers games, 64 and 60. And it opens up at a 47.5. And I understand that the advanced models will tell you there's value, hammer that. But I get very uncomfortable when a line comes out, whether it be a side or a total, that doesn't make any sense, and I know it's just going to be hammered. Now, if you do hammer it, you're happy to see that it moves to 50.5. You sit back, you know you beat the line, and you're in good shape. But that makes me uncomfortable. I've been saying negative things about the Steelers defense on our show for at least 2 years.
2 years.
I do not believe that this pass rush is ranked 4th. The PFF ranking of 4th. I do not believe it. Pass defense ranked 26th. Rush defense ranked 20th. That is what I expect from the Steelers. But for our gambling, we know that this is not easy. And when you see, 87% of the tickets, 87% of the cash on the Colts, and every single person talking about the Colts, I respect that Troy is on the Steelers. As much as I respect it, I can't bet them myself. There was a time a long time ago with the Blue Jays. I got to be 20 years ago. Shea Hillebrand walked into the clubhouse and he wrote on the chalkboard, he wrote, "This is a sinking ship." And he walked off. And Greg Zahn, full of steroids, didn't fight him. I always question Zahn for not knocking him out. You have the excuse, you're on roids, knock him out. Nobody did anything, just to show what a weak group of baseball players they were. But when I've watched this Steelers team the last 2 weeks, I think this is a sinking ship. This defense full of these great names are getting older and are not reliable.
They can't cover anybody.
Old. That secondary is so old. Now, but I respect Troy. Look, I mean, he's put out 192 bets this year officially. Sitting here with a plus 18.27% ROI. So there's no chance of me, being on this very public side on opposite of it. And I get why you're on the over too. And I talked about it and I was sitting there and I was like, God, but it just seemed a little too easy. And I stayed off.
I remember why, I kind of feel like I talked Jimmy off the over. And I feel like part of that is because if I believe in the Steelers as a side, I think that, and I'm not in the fucking meeting room, right? I'm not putting this game plan together, but I would have to believe that Arthur Smith, Aaron Rodgers, and Tomlin are sitting there like, we got to possess this ball for 70% of the, we got to have the ball for 70% of the play clock. Like, we got to possess the football. And then, you got the Colts on the road outdoors for the first time all season. So I believe I would never bet the under in this game, but I do think the Steelers get the job done. And I've been talking about fading them every single week, every week. I think it's time.
I wouldn't be mad at the Steelers first half, but I mean, you go to halftime adjustments, Steichen's going to cook Tomlin, dude. All right, next up. Carolina, Green Bay. Oh, man. The next one's uglier than this one. This one's not as ugly. The next one's a disgusting one. All right, so where are you guys going with this one? I'm all ears.
I'll hit this one off. These spots are just absolutely wonderful. The Packers, Panthers, I find very similar to the Chiefs, Commanders. there's going to be one team on the field that can't score, and that team is the Carolina Panthers. So will the Packers be pushed to do anything but run the clock? They have this ball control offense. They have these huge, long drives. That's all that's going to happen here. This game is going to be as boring as anybody can possibly predict, imagine. I mean, the Panthers are going to do absolutely nothing. This Packers defense is getting stronger and stronger. And who do the Packers host next week? The Philadelphia Eagles. You think their focus is going to be on putting the right offense together to smash and grab this horrifically weak Panthers defense? No, it's just they're going to put you to sleep. Second-ranked pass defense with the Packers, 8th-ranked rush defense, 5th-ranked pass rush, 5th-ranked third down defense. This is going to be as boring a football game as you can imagine, and I love it. I love boring football. Let's put everybody to sleep. We also have 15-mile-per-hour winds, 48 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy. This game is going to suck, and I'm going to cash the first half under 22 and the full game under 44.5.
I don't hate that. Troy, what do you think?
So I agree with Jimmy's look towards the under based on market history. I just couldn't get there myself. I would like to see this line tick down before I'd be comfortable enough to take it. Sitting over 44.5. I still get a little bit concerned. But I do think Jordan Love showed a little bit of what he's weak at, what he struggles with last week with man coverage. The man blitz, like he struggled with the man blitz last week. They got away from it a little bit in the second half, but they definitely put a game plan together for it. But yeah, he struggled a little bit with the man blitz. And I think Jordan Love is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, being able to drive the ball outside the numbers to both sides of the field. I do think man coverage is where he's going to struggle, and the Panthers do not play man coverage. I think they play zone at the highest rate in the NFL.
Over 80%.
Over 80%. So I think that Jordan Love and the Packers team get out to a lead, cruise to victory, a lot like my handicap on the under in the Chiefs Commanders, even though it didn't work out necessarily that way. I think the Packers get out to a lead early. They cruise to a victory. And I don't think they're going to be looking to blow anybody out in this game. They're going to possess the ball. And I think it leads to an under. But I have not moved on this game.
I would lean towards the Green Bay side. A lot of the I don't hate an under at all. I think we're kind of circling the same idea. It's just if at any point in the game the Packers are up 10 late in the third quarter and it's like a low scoring, ugly defensive game, a lot of running, a lot of punting like you guys are describing, which I think is very possible. If Carolina is put in a position where they need to drop back and pass, and the Packers defense can, to use a very commonly used phrase, pin their ears back, as they say on TV, pin their ears back. I honestly think Green Bay could score defensive. The current state, the Panthers finally got their offensive line back, and then they just got smoked immediately. Their offensive line is immediately in bad shape again, and this Packers pass rush, if this game is close and competitive, which I suppose is possible, Carolina's defensive front has been tough, and I suppose that's possible, but if Green Bay has a lead late in the third quarter, I think the Packers pass rush can add an extra 6 onto the score here, and I think the Packers win this comfortably. The whole right side of the offensive line is a mess. Austin Corbett lost his starting job. Now he's back getting it because the other guy, what is his name, Mays, is hurt. Taylor Moton probably not going to play. Christensen's out for the year, I think. So the Panthers offensive line is just smoked. And this Panthers team has looked completely different on the road to begin with. Their only road win is against the Jets. And you can make the argument they probably should have lost that game against the Jets. So, this team, they got beat by, 16? By the Jags on the road. The Cardinals, they scored a touchdown late to make it interesting. They got beat handedly by the Cardinals in Arizona. The Panthers, if you just isolate their road games, hasn't been all that pretty. So, yeah, I think the Packers win comfortably. But, no, I don't. It's going to be I don't hate it under either.
But you nailed it. That's what happened in that. Yeah, the Panthers were down 40-3 heading into the fourth against the Bills. Those 3 offensive linemen, Mauton, Christensen, and Mays, all got hurt during the game. This is already an offensive line that's been getting worse and worse, grading out worse and worse each week. And now they get devastated with injuries. Christensen, as you said, Achilles gone for the year. Mays with the ankle. Mays is their center. Motton was arguably the most accountable lineman there. The Panthers are going to do nothing.
Yep.
Nothing offensively at all game. So it'll be another situation where, just like when the Chiefs won 28-7, even if the Chiefs had have won 35-7, we cashed the first half under easily. We cashed the full game under easily, and I think this will have a similar script.
And we kind of saw it in the Steelers game last week. That was a competitive game for most of it. Then Packers took a lead, and what happened? The Packers pass rush, quote unquote, pinned their ears back. And then it was like, okay, this Steelers offense can't do this now. Now that they know they need to drop back to pass, and that's Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. Imagine Bryce Young with an injured offensive line in Lambeau trying to do that. Could be disgusting. Maybe I'm not much of a prop guy, but maybe a Packers defensive touchdown, something to glance at for those of you that are trying to get nasty with it.
Yeah, no, the defensive touchdown prop is a fun one to add.
Yeah. Saints Rams. I'm not saying a word. You guys go ahead, man. What are you about to say about this game? Actually, you're probably going to go under. Am I wrong?
It's heaven. I don't see why people look at these games and go, oh, that game sucks. All I think is this is our wheelhouse. May I have some more? This is Tyler Shuck and the Saints. The Rams have the 49ers on deck. The 49ers went into LA and beat them with half their roster healthy. The Rams know that they have to beat the Niners next week. Shuck is going to do nothing. And all of a sudden, my Rams future is I would be sitting back and lighting up a blunt if I wasn't so scared of the Seahawks. The Seahawks are becoming an elite team, and it's making me nervous. I could lose my Rams futures because of the what I'm seeing from the Seahawks getting better and better each week. But this Rams defense, third-ranked pass defense, second-ranked rush defense, first-ranked red zone defense, fourth-ranked third down defense, seventh-ranked pass rush. Statistically, this is the best defense in the National Football League. And they have their thoughts on the 49ers. Tyler Shuck is going to do squat ass zilch. This game is going to be awful. I feel bad for all of the people in the stands that are going to watch this snooze fest, and we're going to sit back and catch the first half under 22.5 and the full game under 44. Sit back and cash. It's going to be
what's that first half total?
22.5. First half under 22.5 minus 105. Full game under 44 at minus 110.
First half under 22.5 at minus 105. Got it. Troy, you co-signing that?
Yeah, I'm co-signing. I bet the full game under 44.5, and I knew it. The market environment was telling me this line was going to tick down, close around 42.5, 43, and I think it's still heading lower than where it currently sits. I think if there's any redeeming quality of this Saints team, it's their defense. We've seen them last week on the goal line, being able to hold the Bucs out of the end zone. They plastered the cornerback coverage was absolutely insane, honestly. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I know the Bucs are a little beat up, but Chase Young finally reaching his potential after, kind of getting thrown to the side of the road after not producing in his first few years in the NFL. And then Demario Davis is probably the most violent player I watched all last week. I don't think the Saints offense is going to be being able to put up touchdowns. I think this is a very similar cap. I mean, Jacob's talking about it in the chat. Like, it's a very similar cap to the Packers, Panthers, where a team gets out to the lead and they're just going to cruise and prepare for the next week. And the market history of this profile suggests that happens pretty frequently.
But you were right, though, Troy, talking about the Saints defense. It's not bad. They have the 5th ranked rush defense over there, 15th ranked pass defense, 11th ranked red zone defense, 10th ranked third down defense. What's the problem? Well, statistically, they have the worst pass rush in the league.
Yeah,
Chase Young is stepping up, and that it could be graded much higher if you looked at only the times that Chase Young is playing. And he's a player that we gave up on. We thought he just didn't care, didn't want to play for a losing team, but he's showing out. So I love this sleepy ass Saints Rams game. Is just music to my ears.
I mean, it's hard to envision the Saints even hitting like 13 points in this game, so it's hard to disagree with an under. I'm a little worried that two of the fastest-paced teams in the NFL, but I mean the Saints have been a fast-paced team all year. It doesn't mean they score points. I think the Saints' defensive numbers are a little padded. It's easy to play defense when you're down 24 and the other team's just handing the ball off from an inside zone. It's easy to play defense in situations like that. I don't think I agree that their defense isn't terrible, but I don't think it's as good as these year-long numbers show either. This Rams offense most likely getting Nakua and Havenstein back. Do I really think that the Saints can make stops in SoFi? I don't think so. And then, dude, Tyler Shuck, I didn't even really like him in college. Like he might that Saints offense is so bad that but it might be one of those offenses where even if they force a punt, they're going to get the ball on their own 11 and give it right back to them in scoring. But I think the offense might be so bad that it actually hurts an under. I'm not on the over or anything. I just it would only be Rams minus a big number, but I can't with the 49ers on deck and not to mention the way McVay coaches, he's like going to hand the ball off. They won't. I'm not betting this game. I'm just putting a pick up for the show.
With Shuck at quarterback, the offense is definitely going to slow down with a rookie quarterback in his first start. And also looking at the Saints defense in the first half of the Bucs game, that was a close game. They still believed they could win that game, and they were playing lights out. And I know the Bucs. I mean, we were talking about offensive regression, and that's coming to fruition. But I was very impressed the past few weeks with the Saints defense outside of the blown coverages 3 times against the New England Patriots.
But what happened to the Saints offense? Well, they lose their Pro Bowl center.
Yeah.
Eric McCoy. Eric McCoy goes down, and all of a sudden, Rattler looks terrible. Shuck comes in and looks as terrible. That Pro Bowl center gave them a sense of calm and confidence. He's gone for the year, and they look atrocious.
You're not worried about turnovers?
Yes, I am.
Dude, the Saints are really bad. This is I'll put Rams. I'm not betting the game, though.
I mean, look how many turnovers were in the Commanders-Chiefs game.
Yeah.
That didn't change a thing. I bet. Yes, it's a concern, but I think we're golden.
All right. Yeah, I'm not on the over or anything. I was just putting hesitation out there.
Wow, under got 27% of that poll. That's kind of surprising.
All right. I don't care what you guys are about to say. It's Bills here. We're going to go to battle if you're on the Chiefs.
No. We're all.
Let's go.
Jimmy, kick it off. Jimmy, kick it off, man.
Oh, we're all Bills all the time. This is a very similar situation to the Texans Broncos game. You have a Chiefs team, and yes, they're very good. Like this isn't nobody's like I'm not going to say bad things about the Chiefs, although Pacheco not being there, Kareem Hunt, both. I love Pacheco trying to get back on the field after his knee got destroyed, and Kareem Hunt's playing well, and so maybe the loss of Pacheco isn't so bad. Look, the optics of this game are absolutely perfect. You have the Chiefs team playing two of the worst teams in the NFL the last 2 weeks and beating them at home by a combined score of 59-7. You have the public all over the Kansas City Chiefs. And what is everybody talking about the Bills? Ed Oliver's hurt. Ed Oliver, what are they going to do? Milano's still hurt. The first thing you hear with optics is the Bills' injuries. What they're not talking about is you get Hoyt and Ogunjobi back. We've been talking about how small this defensive front for the Bills is. We'll add in a couple 6'5", 310-pound beasts, and it changes things. What else did you have back? Their first-round pick, Maxwell Hairston. So sure, he graded out very well, but he only played 27 snaps. He only played 44% of the team snaps. They've already said it's going way up this week. So actually, yes, Ed Oliver is a loss. I'm not going to say he's not a loss. Taylor Rapp on IR, Milano out. It's not good. You also have Daquan Jones out, so you have 2 defensive tackles out. But Ogunjobi and Hoyt are going to be so much better in their second game. We just saw the exact same thing with Khalil Mack and Perryman. Their first game, they looked bad. Their second game, you're like, oh, these guys are beasts again, especially Khalil Mack. This is optics that are absolutely perfect. Everyone said, who cares what the Bills did against the Panthers? That's what everyone's saying. Ooh, I watched them lose to the Falcons. I mean, you're hearing the exact same point of reference from every single person that's fading the Bills, and that's perfect. We want to fade the public. We want to go up against them. Bills first half plus a half at minus 115. And I took the full game plus 2.5 at minus 114. I was waiting. I was like, is this going to move to a flat 2.5? And I was like, you know what? Just get in. So I got in tonight. Double up spot for me. Bills first half, Bills full game. And I can't wait for this football game. It's such a horrible week, man. We've got some horrible matchups. And then we get this thing of absolute beauty at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. I can't wait.
Agree with every single word. I am also on Bills plus 2.5 all the way. Troy, you too?
I'm on the Bills. I'm on the Bills 3 different ways. Money line, spread. I got them teased up to 8. I got 2 units on the money line. I love this spot. Jimmy touched on a lot of the points, but I don't think that I could put enough emphasis on what happens when these teams in the NFL play more than 3 weeks where they haven't played a road game. Then they go on the road, especially when they're playing a super competitive team like the Bills. I mean, we've seen this Kansas City team against these mobile quarterbacks that have, I'm not going to say like kind of profiles because they're definitely not Josh Allen, but we've seen Trevor Lawrence be able to do a lot of stuff mobility-wise. Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert both were able to pick up first downs in key situations with their legs. I think I seen a metric earlier that in all the games, the regular season games that Josh Allen has played against the Kansas City Chiefs, he had over 10 rushes. Josh Allen's going to come to play. The Chiefs are overrated. You look at what I don't want to say overrated, because I believe the Chiefs are a really good football team. Don't get me wrong. I think their offense is definitely coming back to life like they were in the with when Cheetah was playing wide receiver. But I just think it's a terrible spot. They're going on the road after playing the weakest teams in the league. And it's just the epitome to me. I think it is a buy low spot on the Bills because, like sports scientist Jacob is saying in the chat, what happened before the bye week, before they smashed the Panthers? They lost 2 games to the Atlanta Falcons and the Patriots. And I was on both those teams on the money line. I faded the Bills on the money line with those dogs. This is a completely different situation. It's a completely different team. Getting Ogunjobi and Hoyt back on the defensive line is the biggest thing to me. The front 7 for this Bills team was way undersized without those 2 individuals. I think those 2 guys are more important than Ed Oliver. And maybe not in this specific matchup because the Chiefs aren't really going to run inside zone very much or ISO very much. But I do think that those 2 guys being back round out this defense, make it a much more formidable defense. And I love this spot for the Bills. I feel like it's a must bet.
Yeah, completely agree. The look headline for this was what? Buffalo minus 2.5. What the hell has changed to make? I got a plus 2.5. What the hell has changed to make it swing that far? I mean, that's the market's suffering from recency bias here. I mean, rewind 4 weeks ago, we saw the Chiefs losing to Jacksonville to go what 2-3, and we were all like, and everyone was loving the Bills then and hating the Chiefs. Now we've swung 5 points, 5 because the Chiefs played a few home games. Are we freaking crazy? They played home games against Marcus Mariota and the Raiders. They were sitting on easy street. They had a nice win against Detroit, and props to the Chiefs. They're playing well right now. But what the hell has happened in the NFL for this line to swing 5 points? Coming into the season, I think most people thought Buffalo was the better team, period. What has changed? The Buffalo lost a couple games. So did the Chiefs. The Chiefs lost to the Jags. The Chiefs lost some games also. I don't know what the hell has changed that where I was able to get a Buffalo plus 2.5. Honestly, I think the market's way off there. If you want to sit me down and try to convince me that Kansas City should be above Buffalo in the power rankings, I'll hear you out. Maybe a half point on a neutral. But in Buffalo, are you crazy? This should still be Buffalo minus 1.5, minus 2. I couldn't believe I got a plus 2.5. I think the Bills win outright personally. So yeah, I'm with it.
The plus 2.5s are widely available.
They're still
right
up. What's going on? Why?
They're widely available. Minus 114 at public books, at sharp books. Widely available for anybody that wants it. Yeah, I cannot wait for this game.
I'm gonna go watch this game over at my dad's house. I usually go over like 3 times a year for the biggest game. Yeah, I'm on the Bills plus 2.5. Might even take some money line too. This will be a good one. Guys, where can they find you?
We have Bankroll Blitz every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We like to keep things really fast and fun here with you guys. When we have our show, it took us 4 hours to break down this card. This was an extensive card. The injuries are really, wreaking havoc on these caps and on the angles. But yeah, we're over at Pub Sports Radio. And then all of the live streams, Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, Troy kicks them off with me. And we live bet away. And then I'm Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But we're really thankful to rock at the Sauce Network. All these great cappers, they're so energized and pumped up, and it's fun to be around this kind of energy. So I know Troy feels the same, so I'll let Troy hit that as well. But thank you for having us. It means a ton.
Sure. Yeah. So I typed Pub Sports Radio into the comments. It's spelled just like that. They do their NFL show on Tuesday night. So last night you can go watch, and yeah, it's almost 4 hours long. They'll talk about a game for 25 minutes. So if you were looking for a deep dive, something to throw on late at night and go through the slate, just type in Pub Sports Radio into the search. Gonna talk some college football, guys. Enjoy your night. All right, it is Wednesday, so we got Jay Sternberger and Kyle Hunter here as always. We got 7 games queued up to talk about. I got to say, a lot of really great college football games this weekend in terms of playoff implications. There's great games in basically every single conference. In terms of betting, though, I don't have a ton of bets open at the moment. I'm still scouring, looking for more. I do have a few in the games you guys chose, though. You guys made some good picks. I actually have bets in, I think, 4 or 5 of the 7 that you chose. So you guys chose wisely. But Kyle, how was your week? How was your weekend?
Well, hopefully we chose wisely. We'll find out this weekend, right? My weekend was fine. I kind of moved money around on Saturday. Every game, every week, so the last 3 weeks, I've had a game on bad beats, and this time it was Miami and Stanford under. That was a tough one, but hopefully next weekend I'll either be on the right side of one of those, or my games just won't show up on the bad beats segment. But did really well in the NFL this past weekend, so overall winning week. I'll take it.
Yeah, in college football, I had a slightly profitable week, and I had 2 games where the underdog lost in overtime. I had New Mexico State in the midweek game, and then Mississippi State. I don't know how I have a Mississippi State at 6.5. I bet it thinking it was going to come down. It goes up to 7. So I know a lot of people pushed, or maybe even one at 7.5. But yeah, I had 2 underdogs lost in overtime. Still managed to salvage a profitable week, though. Jace, how was your weekend?
I didn't do anything Sunday NFL wise. But OU let me down in Iowa State, so I have to eat my words on Oklahoma. I'm out on them. I'll never pick them again this year.
You're done?
I'm done.
I'm surprised you didn't even choose them to talk about today.
Yeah, that's how done I am with them. I got nothing. I don't care about Tennessee, and I got nothing else about Oklahoma.
Well, you live in Oklahoma, don't you?
Yeah, born and raised, but I'm current. Yeah.
Are you closer to Norman or what the hell does Oklahoma State play again?
Stillwater.
Stillwater, duh.
My high school where I graduated from, I was like literally smack dab in the middle of equal distance between, but my parents recently moved and we're actually kind of closer to Dallas, so I guess I'd be closer to Norman maybe. I don't know, but after neither of them recruited me out of high school or JUCO, I've turned heel completely.
I've turned heel. If it makes you feel better, neither of them recruited me either, so
well, we all got something in common there.
So they got bad taste.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we're starting off with a Friday night game, and I have a bet in this one, but the number I have under 48.5. So this is in terms of my current position, this is one of my better bets. This is down to 45 now. I think the reasoning for an under in this one is pretty self-explanatory. North Carolina can't score. They can't move the ball. They've given us back-to-back competitive football games. In fact, you could probably make the argument that they should have won both of them. Talk about the Cal game and the Virginia game. And I had Cal in the first one. I did take North Carolina plus 10 against Virginia. So I watched both those games every single snap, and North Carolina's defense is keeping them competitive in these games. The offense is still a mess. In those 2 games where you can make the argument they should have won both of them, 4.6 yards per play, success rate under 35%. This offense is not fixed. It's every bit as broken as it was earlier in the season. The reason that North Carolina is competitive is the defense is playing well. And I know you might think, well, Kyle, Syracuse defense is terrible. Not necessarily going to disagree. I will say Syracuse's defense has been slightly better in the last few weeks. I know they got lit up by Georgia Tech last week. That's probably the strongest offense in the conference. either them or Miami, but I think a lot would agree that Georgia Tech might be the strongest offense in the conference. In the previous 2 games before that against SMU and Pittsburgh, I mean, they allowed just 4.83 yards per play, 35% success rate. So got to keep in mind, Fran Brown is a defensive coach, and it wouldn't be crazy to think that Syracuse defense is better. And I'm saying better. I'm not saying good, just better in the second half of the year. I think the Syracuse defense is a little bit undervalued. And regardless, North Carolina's offense is so bad that I think Syracuse is able to generate stops in this game because everyone can generate stops against North Carolina. And on the other side, this Syracuse offense just doesn't work since Steve Angeli's been down. He got injured. That's the quarterback, by the way, for those that don't follow Syracuse. He got injured, I believe it was 4 games ago. Since Ricky Collins has taken over at quarterback, this offense, man, they're averaging like 12 points a game. Like, this offense just doesn't work. They've got drama going on. Jonte Cook's uncle called into the radio show. Like, Jonte Cook's their star receiver. There's all kinds of stuff going on there. It's just the Syracuse offense right now. It was so centered around quarterback play, and we saw it last year with Kyle McCord. Then Steve Angeli seemed to fill the void to an extent, but Ricky Collins just doesn't seem to give them the same explosivity in terms of a passing attack. And North Carolina's defense has been excellent. In fact, North Carolina's defense is kind of being overshadowed due to the fact that the offense is so bad. So, yeah, I got under 48.5. I honestly think it might still be too high at 45. This is probably like 42.5, 43. So, yeah, I'm on the under in this one. You with me, Kyle?
I am. I'm going to take the under. 45.5 available, several chops. So definitely get that 45 in the hook on the key number. I mean, you could say North Carolina's offenses look really bad, but Syracuse's offensive numbers year to date, you have to just not care at this point what the stats were with Angeli as quarterback because it's so much different with Collins. Look at the point totals they've been putting up with Collins. 3 points, 18 points, 13 points, and 16 points. This is a team that just can't score. We've seen a lot of unders coming in Syracuse home games. I know it's a dome. There's no weather factor or anything like that. But I think this total is still a little bit too high, to be honest with you. I like Syracuse team total under as well. But I'll take under 45 here. North Carolina came up, a yard short against Cal because of that fumble, and then a foot short last week. Yeah. So they just keep barely coming up short. You could argue that this is a difficult spot for them based on you come up short just that much 2 times in a row. What are you going to do in the next game? But I don't trust Syracuse here. Collins has a 49.0 PFF grade, 5 big time throws, 13 turnover worthy plays. UNC's defense has been really solid here lately. 22nd explosiveness allowed for the year, 19th in PPA per rush allowed. I know UNC's offense is a mess. I think Gio Lopez is actually pretty good, but he isn't helped by the positions around him very much. They're 110th in havoc allowed. He's definitely on the run. The wide receivers have been pretty poor there. 112th in rushing success rate. I know it's tough to go low in a dome total, but I think this can be a low scoring game, so I'll take the under.
Jace, you with us?
I don't disagree with either of those points made, but I'm just taking North Carolina in the points just strictly because of I'm still hurt. I took North Carolina live money line like plus 260 against Cal, and then watching that fumble on like the half-yard line, I was just like, ugh. And so I paid a little more attention to them against Virginia, and it's like their offense isn't good at all, but it's like it's almost so bad that it's kind of entertaining to watch at times because you're like they do things on accident, like that it wasn't on purpose that they did it. And I think this is a good spot for them. I think Fran Brown's a great coach at Syracuse. It's completely not his fault with the quarterback. Like they're so quarterback heavy reliant, like you said, and so them losing their quarterback, they just haven't been the same team. And North Carolina's been so close the past 2 weeks. I think this is a good spot. They finally get their win.
I kind of agree that North Carolina wins also. If I had to pick a side, it would be North Carolina. Next game, Vanderbilt, Texas. So is there an official update on Arch Manning yet? I was reading last night that it's still game time decision questionable, right?
Yeah, and take this for what you want. Like I'm not a doctor. I did have a couple of concussions in the NFL, but he was rumored to have his concussion, and then there's a picture going viral yesterday. He got pulled over in traffic in Austin, and so he's driving. So it's like if you're having a concussion, you're really not supposed to be driving like that. So I think he's kind of trending towards playing, but again, don't take that to the bank. That's just what's going around on Twitter right now in Texas. So yeah, I think he's playing. I don't know.
Does that mean you're going to take Texas?
I don't want to, but it's like this line doesn't make sense to me. Like, in what way, based off the Vanderbilt team that we've watched the past 3 weeks compared to the Texas offense we've watched the past 3 weeks? Like, why is Vandy? They went back up to +2.5 today, so it's like, why are they still the underdogs? I get it; it's at home in Austin, but so it makes me feel like I'm supposed to take Texas because it's so obvious I want to take Vanderbilt at plus money, but I'm just gonna ride with Pavia and just because I hate Texas.
Kyle, what do you think?
I mean, I wouldn't say I hate Texas myself, but I don't want to bet Texas here in this spot. I love Pavia. And Pavia as a dog has just been fantastic. I would definitely lean Vandy. I think I like the under better though. Under 45, I guess it is. Vandy plays so slow. I mean, their tempo is just, I mean, you watch the play clock when they snap it, it's like 2 or 1 every single time. Really frustrating if you have an over. I don't know why I bet the over last week. That was a bad bet by me. But I think Pavia didn't play well last week, and Vandy's offense really didn't work against Missouri. But that kind of is a testament to how much better Vandy is now, because in the past, Vandy would have never won if Pavia was playing so poorly. They're definitely a much better team overall than they used to be. I think Vandy will need to throw the ball here to have success, though, because Texas is second in yards per carry allowed this year. I really think the Texas front seven is excellent. On the other side, do we want to trust Texas's offense? I mean, Arch Manning had that 81.9 PFF grade at Stark Vegas there last weekend. They really only had 5.4 yards per play last week, and I kind of think them scoring so many points last week against Mississippi State was kind of fluky. I think Vandy slows this tempo down, runs the football quite a bit. Is Manning playing? Is he completely healthy? They don't have many big playmakers. I mean, people should probably stop punting to the Texas punt returner at this point. But, you know, I mean, because if people could figure that out, it'd definitely be tough for them to score. I think the Vandy tight end, Stowers, will have a good game here. I lean Vandy, but I like the under better.
Yeah, I bet Vanderbilt. Yeah, I don't know how you lay with Texas. Look, maybe you're buying into the Texas offense last week. They did score 45 points. It was in overtime, obviously. Really didn't do much for 3 quarters. Maybe you're buying into the fact that Sark put his quarterback coach, and I'm just reading what was written. I'm not saying this made a difference. I'm just reading what was written. Apparently, he threw his quarterback coach and co-offensive coordinator A.J. Milwee up in the press box instead of on the sideline. And it gives them a set of eyes up top he can trust. Again, I'm just reading what was written. I'm not saying that makes a difference. I'm just reading what was written. It was the first game he did that. They did look a little better offensively, but I mean, it's kind of blinded by the final score of 45 points. They averaged 5.4 yards per play, 41% success rate. So it wasn't exactly an explosive offensive game, and they were actually struggling to move the ball for a lot of it. They still can't protect Arch Manning or whoever's back there. If it's going to be Matthew Caldwell, you have to think it's a drop-off in production. I know Arch Manning hasn't been excellent, but Matthew Caldwell got beat out for the starting job at Troy last year by Goose Crowder. And when he did come in, because Goose Crowder got hurt, so Caldwell started, I think, 6 games for Troy last year. He had serious turnover problems. In his 6 starts, he threw 8 interceptions and fumbled 7 times. In 6 starts for Troy. It's in the Sun Belt. So, yeah, if Arch Manning doesn't play, it is a drop-off in production, even though it may not seem like it. Yeah, when it comes down to it, I mean, how do you not trust Pavia to get the win at the end of the game? I know this Texas defense is definitely very strong, but I'll say the same thing here that I said last week when talking about the Mississippi State game. This defense is not very tested. Oklahoma, Florida, Kentucky, Sam Houston State, UTEP. They played a lot of bad offenses. And even the Ohio State game, that was Julian Saint's first career start. Last week on the road at Mississippi State was one of their toughest tests as a defense to date. And Blake Shapen threw for 381 yards in the game. So I keep in mind, Texas is still missing arguably their best defensive player, Taffy, the safety. He's their leading tackler, and I believe one of the captains. We were talking about it last week. Yeah, I don't know how you don't go with Pavia. I think Vanderbilt wins. I think they're the better team. I think this Texas defense is a little bit overrated, and the offense isn't very good. So, yeah, give me Vandy. Navy, North Texas. What a huge game. This is a huge game in the AAC, which is low-key becoming one of the most exciting, probably the most exciting Group of 5 conference. Kyle, you taking a look at this one?
Yeah, I mean, the total is surprisingly high for a Navy game, but I understand why the total's so high. I don't really want to bet a side here on this one. I'm going to take a different angle here. Frankly, I like both of these teams. I like rooting for Navy. Who doesn't like rooting for the troops? North Texas, a really fun team on the turnaround. I like them a lot as well. North Texas is going to have a big advantage when they're throwing. Navy's secondary is definitely the biggest weakness of the team. 102nd in QBR allowed. They don't have the same speed that North Texas has on the outside. Mestemaker with almost 2,500 passing yards already this year. But what is North Texas's biggest weakness? They're weak against the run. Well, Navy happens to be really good at running the football. 103rd in PPA per rush allowed, 117th in stuff rate, 103rd in defensive line yards for North Texas. Navy's first in PPA per rush, first in yards per carry, first in rush success rate. They're also 19th in rushing explosiveness. So unlike some of the old Army Navy teams, Navy does have explosiveness on offense. They can get big plays. Horvath's really a very good player. We saw Navy pick up the pace a bit and get aggressive on offense against Temple when they were down all game. They got to 32 points in that one. Navy has quietly scored 32 points or more in all but one game this year. North Texas projected to be ahead. I think Navy is less likely to just be able to assault the game away and use all the clock late in the game. I think Navy's offense loves to go for it on fourth down too. You guys have seen this so many times. If it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2, they're going for it. They're likely to get it here too because North Texas has been very poor third and fourth down, especially in those third and shorts, fourth and short situations. I think Navy is going to score points here. I don't know exactly how many North Texas will score. I kind of think this could be a really high scoring game in general, but I'm going to take Navy's team total over 28.5 here for my bet. As far as the side, I mean, I see this one kind of bouncing around 6.5 and even some 7s here. I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts, but Navy hasn't played a great schedule. I mean, if you look at who they've played, they haven't played good teams. North Texas, much better team than they have been in the past, but I think this is a tricky matchup for them. The other thing, last thing I'll say is Army moved the ball on them like crazy, and that was a super high scoring game. Army is not nearly the offense that Navy is, so that's what would worry me about taking North Texas and laying the full touchdown there, but I don't have a play on the side. I'm just going to take Navy to score at least 29 points here.
It's 28.5. That's what team total's at?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, get it up on the screen. And I agree with a lot of what you said. Jace, what do you think?
I think North Texas and the over has been a great play this year. This number kind of reminds me of I think South Florida game was like 67. After watching the Texas State game last night, I'm not going to do Navy's offense that dirty because Texas State, I don't know what they were doing at the second half. Like, they came out with a good game, I guess. Like, they bounced back in the second quarter. But I think this game could almost be a carbon copy of it where Navy's keep their scoring points at first. North Texas is scoring points. It's high function going on. But I think in the second half, North Texas can pull away, and that's how they're going to get the over. It's going to be like a 45-20 game. Or for Kyle's sake, we can go 55-30 just so the team total will hit on Navy's side. But yeah, if I pick a side, I'm leaning North Texas. Just being at home as well, they play much better.
Well, I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. It's over for me. 65.5 you can get. I know this is a super high total, but man, like Kyle said, both these teams are weak against what the other team does, and we know how North Texas plays. Fast pace, explosive plays, explosive passing attack. Mestemaker threw for 608 yards last week. Navy can't cover anybody. The secondary can't cover anybody. I mean, this Navy defense, in their last 3 games, they're giving up 325 yards per game, over 9.6 yards per pass attempt. That's against Air Force, Temple, and FAU. Now they're going to go on the road to North Texas. I mean, Mestemaker might throw for another 600 in this game. And like Kyle talked about, Navy, yes, they run a slow-paced option offense, heavy rushing attack, but this is an explosive offense, and this is not like Army's, which is the old school service academy, more of a ground and pound, hold on to the ball forever. Navy does some of that too, but let's not forget we already saw North Texas play Army. Army rushed for 387 yards in the game. I mean, Army ripped North Texas up in that second half. So this year's Navy offense, way better than this year's Army offense, and Navy's going to score right back. I said it, I think 2 weeks ago. What I said was we might have to blindly take the over in every Navy game against a team that could throw it. And I took the over last week with FAU. There was over 70 points scored in that game. Now they're playing another team that can throw it. Navy's offense is a powerhouse. They're explosive. They're going to score. And if they play a team that can throw the ball, they're going to get scored on. So, yeah, over. I think there's 70-plus points scored in this one again, just like the Navy game last week. I would lean towards Navy on the side. This team has won 10 consecutive football games, and I just don't know if I trust Newberry to just get blown out like that. But, yeah, it'd be over for me. Next up, we kind of all in agreement on that one, except for a little bit on the side. Texas Tech, Kansas State, another game I have a bet on. Kyle, you're low-key a Big 12 guy that you don't like to admit. Texas Tech, Kansas. You always pick Big 12 games, I noticed.
I don't know. I'm a Big 10 guy.
Oh, I meant Jace. I'm sorry. Jace is the one.
Oh, yeah. Rock, like I said, I got KU and Oklahoma. Like, I still got the Big 12 ties. I can't hide it.
No, I know. Me and Kyle were talking about it. Like, this guy always picks Big 12.
Yeah.
So, we're in the Big 12, Jace. Go ahead.
Yeah. I hate pick. I said I was never going to pick Kansas State again, but I know they scored a lot of points on offense, so you might think this might be a regression spot, but I don't think even though they just came off a bye, I don't think Texas Tech is healthy at quarterback. I don't know how healthy he is, even though they had the bye week, and then their backup quarterback Hammond tore his ACL and playing on the road. K-State's picking up some steam, and because I'm not a huge K-State fan, but 7 points at home, like in the Big 12, like anything can happen. So that's strictly why I'm on K-State. I don't know. I think there's a lot of uncertainty in Lubbock right now. I couldn't think where it was located. I just don't think they're healthy, and so that's solely the reason why I'm taking K-State on this.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm not naive enough to think I'm like 4 points smarter than the market, but I think this number's way off. I'm on Kansas State at plus 7.5, and look, there's no question that Texas Tech has been the stronger team, but got to keep in mind that this current version of Kansas State is much stronger than the version we saw earlier in the season, and Texas Tech always loses to Kansas State. They're 1-12 straight up in their last 13 games against Kansas State, 2-10-1 against the spread. Kansas State has this team's number. They haven't won a game in Manhattan since 2008. It's been a while. Now they're laying more than a touchdown. And look, this Kansas State defense has been strong all year. I know Baron Morton's set to return, which is good timing because Will Hammond just tore his ACL. So Baron Morton better be set to return, or they're heading to the third string. But Baron Morton is set to return at quarterback, and so yes, they're getting their starting quarterback back. But number one, Kansas State's playing their best football of the year right now. In the last two games, Kansas State has played, in the last three games, they played Baylor, TCU, Kansas. Three high-powered offenses. In the last two games against TCU and Kansas, they're allowing less than 4.9 yards per play to TCU's offense and Kansas offense. 22.5 points per game. So this Kansas State defense, not only are they playing really well, they're playing explosive offenses and still playing really well. So, look, this Kansas State offense is very good, but this is a really tough spot to go play against a defense that looks very strong right now. And what's the story with Baron Morton? It's kind of been the story his entire career. At home in Lubbock, I trust Baron Morton to throw 5 touchdowns and go nuts, but in these tough road environments, we've seen him struggle, and it's been the same story this year. What were Baron Morton's 2 worst starts of the season this year? His 2 road starts, Utah and Houston, 85.2 NFL passer rating, 243.5 passing yards per game. Those are the 2 games we saw him struggle this year, were his 2 road starts. So pretty much sticking to the narrative that Baron Morton is not as reliable on the road. And here he is on the road in Manhattan, a tough place to go play. Texas Tech's least efficient offensive games have been their road games. Sure, they're averaging 30.3 points per game because they play a billion miles an hour, but 5.8 yards per play, success rate under 42%. Texas Tech's offense hasn't looked as efficient in their road games. So I think Kansas State's defense can pose problems, can give problems to Texas Tech's offense. And on the other side of the ball, look, I know Kansas State, the strength of the team is not the offense, and Texas Tech's defense has been elite, but they did lose arguably their best defensive lineman, Skylar Gill-Howard, for the season. Kansas State's going to be missing Dylan Edwards for another game, which is huge. But as I was talking about last week, when we were talking about the Kansas State-Kansas game. Kansas State's offense looks like a completely different team since the bye week. The yards per play is up. Success rate is up. The pushback to that would be they played UCF, Baylor, TCU, Kansas, not the strongest defenses, and Texas Tech will be their toughest test. But what we're seeing from Avery Johnson, if you're a Kansas State fan, you got to love it. I mean, he's delivering throws from a clean pocket. He's been efficient. He's using his legs. The wide receivers are healthy. Jace Brown and Jerron Bradley, both healthy, both on the field at the same time. And you look at Kansas State's season, they're 4-4. But if you actually look, when they were playing like shit earlier in the season, they were losing nail-biters to Iowa State. They blew a lead at the last second to Army. They lost a nail-biter to Arizona, even though they were outplayed in that game. In the 4 games since the bye week, not only are they winning, but they look 42-17 to Kansas when they gifted them a free touchdown in the beginning. 41-28 over TCU. That's a dominant win. Their only loss since the bye week was a 1-point loss to Baylor in Baylor. I mean, they beat UCF by 2 touchdowns. This team just looks so much stronger. I think this number should be 3, honestly, 3.5 maybe. And again, I'm not naive enough to think I have the market beat by 4 points through key numbers. Like, that's crazy. But I truly think this number's off. I don't think this should be above a touchdown. So yeah, I'm on Kansas State. I bet it.
And before Kyle goes, another thing is Morton's been out for like a couple of weeks. He's not just going to jump into this game. Like, you can practice all you want, but you haven't had any live game reps in a couple of weeks. And like, to me, that plays a huge factor. And it's like, he still might be the best quarterback on the field, but like you said, he's awful on the road. And then your first game back is against K-State. And one thing Coach Klein, I don't want to mispronounce his last name, the K-State coach, that he's kind of picked up from Snyder's, like, K-State traditionally, I feel like they kind of always play with their food in the beginning of the season, but as the season goes, they're traditionally a team that you constantly get better, and like, you definitely don't want to play in Manhattan come November and December.
Kyle, you with us on K-State?
So I'm pretty torn on this game. I think 3 would be too low, 3.5 probably a little bit too low too. But I agree with you guys on a lot of what you said. And Morton has gotten hurt a lot of times in the past. He's had a lot of injuries. I don't know if I want to trust that he is going to be completely healthy here. And now you don't have Hammond, who was a really good backup. I mean, some people are like, is Hammond better than Morton? I mean, he's up there right there with him. But then you would drop to the third stringer, who's definitely not as good. Kleinman's been good at covering spreads over the course of his career. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they started 0-4 ATS, and now they've covered 4 straight against the spread. I mean, I would have to bet Kansas State if forced to bet this game. The 7.5 is still available at a little bit of extra juice, a couple different places. I would bet that if I had to bet this game. I'm not excited to run and bet this game, but I think this is a fun matchup where you have Matt Wells, the OC for Kansas State, going up against his old team, Texas Tech. Then you have, the one thing that scares me, I'll say that the devil's advocate point here is Texas Tech's fantastic at stopping the run. I mean, they're really, really good at stopping the run, first in the country in a lot of different rushing defensive metrics, first in yards per carry allowed too. And I think Shael Wood is a really, really good defensive coordinator. So do you have to have Avery Johnson throw it to beat Texas Tech here, or to stay close against Texas Tech? That would be the point that would scare me a little bit with taking Kansas State. But I mean, Texas Tech hasn't looked the same on the road, and Texas Tech 106th in the country in penalties. Kansas State's 3rd in the nation in penalties. That type of thing matters when you're trying to cover close games. The other thing too is, 7.0 yards per play last week for Kansas State to 3.2 for Kansas. They smashed their rivals yet again. And Kyle, like you said, I mean, they've been beating up on Texas Tech for many years. And now you're asking Texas Tech to win by more than a touchdown. I'm going to lean Kansas State. I don't know that I'm going to fire on this one, but I lean your way too.
I did fire. Let's go. Outright Kansas State.
It sounds like you want to.
Yeah, it sounds like you're leaning to
I could maybe be peer pressured into it.
All right, we've moved on to Mississippi State, Arkansas. Jace, I'm passing you the ball here. I have no freaking idea. First glance, final score 51-48.
Yeah.
First glance over, but I looked at this one for like 20 minutes last night too, and I don't know what I think about either team right now. So go ahead. What you put this game on the list? What are your thoughts?
This game's on the list strictly for the love of the game. I want any viewers just to watch a nasty, disgusting SEC game because this is, I think, like you said, it could be 55 to 55 to 40, 55 to 50. Like this is going to be, in my prediction, an ugly game. Mississippi State just can't get over the hump. They're both looking for their first SEC win this year. This is the toilet bowl in the SEC right now. I mean, you could obviously throw Kentucky in there, but two of the worst teams win-loss wise in the SEC, and yeah, Arkansas's at home. I can't believe they're 4.5-point favorites, or at least that's what it was when I saw. I think it's going to be an ugly, fun game, and I just think I'm just praying for a lot of points. If Mississippi State easily could win, I really don't want to pick a side. I'm just relying on bad defense and a lot of good offense.
Kyle, go ahead. I'll share my thoughts at the end, but there's not going to be a lot of conviction behind what I say. But go ahead, Kyle. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, like you, Kyle, I looked at this one for a good while last night trying to figure out what side I wanted to bet. I don't want to bet a side in this game. There's nothing I want to bet on a side. I do like the over, though, guys. I mean, I know, label me public, square, whatever, but I think this game's going to get to like 75 points or more. I mean, the pace that they play at, Arkansas pushing the pace to the extreme. Arkansas, there was some talk, they fired the defensive coaches. Maybe the defense is going to get better. The defense is not better. The defense is still really bad. Taylon Green, he's a walking explosive play. He's excellent. Chapin's been very good. I think if you look at both offensive lines against the opposing defensive line, it's a great matchup. I mean, Arkansas 16th in offensive line yards. Mississippi State's 129th. You look at the other side, Arkansas has been terrible against the rush and the pass. They're really not good at defending anything. Points per scoring opportunity, they're 121st. So people are getting in the end zone once they get first downs on the other side of the field. And then you go to the Mississippi State side, and Mississippi State, I mean, they're giving up a ton of scoring opportunities. They're not very good in red zone defense either. A lot of penalties from Mississippi State that's allowed teams to keep drives alive. That happened a decent amount last week against Texas. I agree with Jace. This is an ugly game, but I think it's one of those ugly high-scoring games, so I'm on the over also.
So it's tough to disagree with an over. Last week against Auburn, Arkansas has got me scratching my head. So for those of you that didn't watch the game, Taylor Green threw 4 interceptions, 3 of them in the fourth quarter. One of them was a pick 6 to give the lead up. People in the Arkansas media were calling for him to get benched, which was like, what? Like he's been like one of the most explosive quarterbacks in the country, but it was like a serious thing. It's got me really scratching my head because what I thought of Arkansas, it's kind of like when I was reading some of these articles, it kind of shook my belief of what this Arkansas team is. And yes, they should score points. It's tough with these two teams. It's tough to really get a feel for either side because Arkansas's defense, we were talking about this last week. I mean, they played 5 games in a row against Texas A&M, Tennessee, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, and then Memphis is thrown in there too. I mean, every single week they're playing an explosive offense, and if you're trying to look for a buy low spot on Arkansas's defense, they are getting their defensive tackle, Cam Ball. He's expected to return. He's missed the last couple. And last week against Auburn, it wasn't a great game, but it was the best defensive game Arkansas's played in a while. You got to keep in mind that Taylor Green kept gifting Auburn excellent field position in the game. That's why they scored 33 points. Auburn's offense wasn't really piecing them up like that. I don't freaking know. I kind of want to lean towards the Mississippi State side. I don't think this should be above a field goal. I think these teams are about even, in my opinion. I think all signs point to Blake Shapen definitely being able to make throws on the Arkansas defense, but I guess Taylor Green should throw him right back. So I lean over as well. I'll put Mississippi State up, but I would make this game 2.5, 3. So I have plus 4.5 it would be Mississippi State. Let's move on to the next one, which is Wake Forest, Florida State. So you guys think Norvell coaching for his job at this point? He's got to win out? Or I can't believe Florida State's lost 4 in a row. How is this happening again? How is this happening? 9 straight ACC losses. I don't even understand it. So, Jace, Florida State laying 9.5. Are you buying?
Well, I'm upset because I was trying to be sharp and I got Wake Forest at 7.5, and so obviously I'm not sitting in a good spot right now. But yeah, what you were just saying about Florida State, if you just put like a name plaque over his name where you don't know who's the coach at Florida State and just look at the resume, like this guy's already getting bought out and fired. Like his ACC, I get it. They beat Week 1 Bama, Ty Simpson's first start. They had 3 months to prep for their Super Bowl and they came out firing, and kudos. But like this is a culture thing. It's got to be Norville's fault at some point. Like they keep doing this, and I know what you said. They were just playing for the playoff with Jordan Travis, and it's like, yeah, that happens like once every blue moon. Like if they didn't bring any, like there hasn't been. They've had what 3 years since Jordan Travis played quarterback, and we're relying on Thomas Mono Castanalo, who quit on his team last year. Like that was supposed to be the guy who changed Florida State football, and
he might not even play in this game. He's questioning.
See, I didn't even know that. That's how much I hate. I hate Mike Norvell, and a lot of my stuff is because people don't offer me. So he didn't offer me when he was at Memphis or wherever he was at the time. So, like I said, I'm petty. It's okay. But yeah, I mean, Stanford 18.5 last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever that was the freest bet of all time, and then they ended up obviously winning outright. And yeah, I hate Florida State, so I'll give me the Deeks. Even though, like we said earlier, Wake Forest offense isn't looking good, but if you just look at where the trajectory of the program's going, I think Wake Forest is more bought in. They're playing together, and like I said, it's November, December. It's a whole new season right now, and so I think they see the light, maybe not the light at the end of the tunnel, but 5-2 looks a lot better than where they've been in the past. So yeah, give me the Deeks.
There's 10s open, and okay, so this is from 2 hours ago. Mike Norvell says he feels very confident in where quarterback Tommy Castellanos is trending. So I assume that means he's trending towards playing, but it's not confirmed.
Maybe that's why the line jumped.
It's moving towards, I guess. I still think this is high with a definite Castellanos. I mean, it's tough because Wake Forest is playing really well, but they're playing really well on one side of the football. They're playing really strong defense, and they kind of put the exclamation point on that with a big win over SMU. They held SMU to 12 points and under 3.7 yards per play. This Wake Forest defense, like Jay said, these two programs are just trending in just completely opposite ways. Jake Dickert, man, they're loving the culture in Wake Forest right now. They're excited for the future. This team's 2-2 in conference with a big win over SMU. They're playing. This is on paper. This is a top 10 defense right now, Wake Forest. So, yeah, I after what they did last week to SMU, I'm a believer. And if you look at Wake Forest's recent body of work, they're 3-1 in their last 4 games. Their only loss was in overtime to Georgia Tech, who's probably the strongest team in the conference. This Wake Forest team looks great right now. And yeah, I trust the defense to go into Doak Campbell and slow down Florida State's offense. The problem is, number one, Florida State's offense hasn't looked all that bad. During this 4-game losing streak, they're still averaging more than 5.8 yards per play with a success rate over 44%. It's not that the offense has looked bad. It's turnovers, it's penalties, it's lack of discipline. It's just like stupidity, like shooting themselves in the foot. So I'm a little worried about that. But what really would scare me as far as a Wake Forest bet is on the other side of the ball. This offense isn't good. This Wake Forest offense isn't good. And they're going on the road to play a Florida State defense that is pretty good. So as much as I can't trust Florida State and lay the big number, I'm not sure if I trust Wake Forest to score points here. And if you're thinking, oh, just bet the under. Yeah, that's what I'm putting up is the under. But guys, these are two very fast-paced teams. So I know under 50, based on what I've just said and based on some of the numbers you look at, looks like a layup. I think both these teams are in the top 30 in the country in pace. So 50 may seem like a big number if you're expecting both defenses to play well, but if we're going to see like 13, 14 possessions apiece, it's not that big of a number. So it would be under, and obviously I lean towards Wake. I'm not laying freaking 10 with Florida State. Are you kidding me?
Didn't Wake put up how many points did they score against Georgia Tech? I mean, I know it took overtime, but they still put up 30.
I think it was 24-24 at the end of regulation.
I mean, Georgia Tech's not a bad defense at all. So I mean, they're physical.
Yeah, they also scored 13 last week.
SMU's they've been compared to the 85 Bears though.
Nobody has compared them to the 85 Bears. Kyle Hunter, where are your thoughts here?
Well, I mean, I want to know who's laying 10 points with Florida State. I mean, the fact that this line is definitely going to 10. I mean, I see multiple 10s. I'd have to take Wake Forest. That, I mean, it's no way I can trust Florida State. I don't know what their mindset is at this point. I mean, they were really fired up. This is going to be a big season. Now they've lost 4 games. We don't know about their coach. Wake Forest defense has been excellent. I mean, if you just look at some of the stats, Wake Forest is first in the nation in yards per pass attempt allowed. They're 22nd in PPA per rush allowed, 7th in defensive success rate, 10th in pass rush grade, 12th in coverage grade at PFF. Florida State has been good offensively this year, but there's also a couple of the games recently, Kyle, where I feel like their stats are a little bit skewed. If you look at the Miami game, you look at the end of it and you say, look how many yards Florida State had. Yeah, like all of them were in the fourth quarter after that game was over. And that game wasn't nearly as close as it looked from the final score. And then also they moved the ball a ton on Stanford late when their offense wasn't very good most of the game. And that Stanford defense, I don't think that's a good defense. So, I don't know. The Florida State offense is pretty good, but I don't know that I trust them to move the ball that much on Wake Forest. Now, Wake Forest, I agree with you. The offense is inconsistent. I think Claiborne, the running back, though, is very good. He's averages 3.9 yards after contact, which is really excellent. They're 4th nationally in explosiveness on offense. So I think that they're going to get some big plays. Jake Dickert's 10-5 against the spread as an underdog. I mean, I'll take the points here with Wake. I also like the under as well, Kyle. I bet it at a better number than what is available now, but I like the under. I like Wake. I don't know who wants to lay all the points here with Florida State, but not me.
Oh, yeah. It looks like it opened up, 51.5, 52?
52.5, yeah.
Oh, good bet. I missed that. Whenever I do the NFL show on Sunday morning, I miss out on some good numbers. It's a sacrifice. The NFL show's too fun, though. You can't. The live chat on Sunday mornings is too fun. All right. This is College Game Day, right? Cincinnati, Utah? All right, Kyle.
Yeah.
College Game Day. Cincinnati, a perfect 5-0 in conference. Do the Utes put a stop to that?
Well, I don't know what side to take here. I'm hoping you guys like a side, and maybe I can be convinced by something you like here. But I don't know. Do you see the odds screen lighting up? I mean, somebody's betting Utah like it's free money. This one's going up to 10. I don't know if this is going 10.5 or not.
There's a 10.5.
10.5. I mean, look, I love Kyle Whittingham as much as any coach in the country. I think he's fantastic. 10.5 is a ton of points. Since he's played really well, Sorsby's been far better than I expected he could be as a passer. I knew he was a good runner, a good dual threat type guy, but as a passer, I mean, you look at PFF rankings, he's about as good as anybody in the country. And Cincy, the one concern I have for Cincy is the defensive line, 115th in defensive line yards. I think both of these teams will score points. I kind of lean to an over. That's what I'd want you to put up here is over 56. Who's going to play? Is it going to be Bird Ficklin or Devin Dampier? This is Bird Ficklin. What a name. That's fantastic. But did you guys watch some of that Utah and Colorado game?
I rewatched the condensed version last night too.
Unbelievable. I mean, that's as lopsided as the first half as you've seen in a long time. You would have thought it was like FCS versus FBS. I don't know. Utah completely called off the dogs, or that could have been way worse than what it was at the end. I don't know. Salt Lake City at night is as good a home field advantage as you get, but you get into 10 or 10.5. I don't know what to do with the side here. I kind of think both teams will score, so I'll take the over.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't disagree with an over. I'm putting Cincinnati up, and there's a couple big question marks in this game. We'll start with Cincinnati's offense. Like Kyle said, you can make an argument that if you're just using the last 7 games, Sorsby's been the best quarterback in the country. He's been essentially perfect. He's been excellent against the blitz, handled pressure well, putting up fantasy football numbers. I mean, he's been truly excellent. Here's where it gets interesting. The main matchup here is going to be Sorsby against the Utah pass rush, because you take a look at Sorsby's body of work here, and like I said, he's lighting it up. It was against Bowling Green, Northwestern State, Kansas, Iowa State with missing secondary, UCF, Oklahoma State, Baylor. He didn't play one good defense, like not one. In fact, Cincinnati's entire schedule, they opened up against Nebraska, who also isn't a defense that looks good. So Sorsby racking up a lot of really nice looking numbers against defenses that aren't good. Now he's going to Rice Eccles, and that's a different story. This Utah pass rush is one of the best in college football. I believe they're first in pressure rate. They're generating pressure at a high rate, and we're going to see Sorsby in a situation we haven't seen him in yet, under pressure. I will say he might have run support, though. This Utah run defense hasn't looked unstoppable. We've seen them get run on a couple times. BYU was running the ball on them. West Virginia. They were running the ball on them late. There was another game where a team was running the ball on Utah. And Cincinnati's been consistently running the football, over 5.7 yards per carry, over 51% success rate per rush in their last 5. So the way Cincinnati's offenses have been playing, you can't just write them off. Oh, by the way, Cincinnati missing their star running back here, Evan Pryor, not going to play in this one. It's not long term. I think they are confident he can return for the following game, but he won't play in this one. So missing their running back. Utah's probably going to be missing their defensive tackle, though, Vakalalahi. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. But yeah, I think Cincinnati can score just because their offense is too good. But I also think we're going to see Cincinnati's offense stutter a little bit, maybe for the first time we've seen all year, or at least since the opener against Nebraska. It's the other side of the ball. This is where I kind of like the matchup for Cincinnati. Now, obviously, we need to know who's playing quarterback for Utah. If it's Devin Dampier, how healthy is he? Here's the thing. If it's Ficklin, I actually think, what does that thumbs down mean?
I'm out. No, I meant like I don't even want to. I can't even smile when I hear his name anymore. He's betrayed me so much.
Oh, that's right. You were big on him coming into the year. So if it's Ficklin starting, I think Utah's offense could really struggle in this game. Last week against Colorado, they scored 53 points, right? They had a success rate under 35% in the game, and they were gifted excellent field position so many times. Of those 53 points, 21 of them came on 3 68-plus yard plays. So they just ripped off 3 huge runs in the game. This is a Cincinnati defense that may not be excellent. They've been really good at limiting explosives. So those 21 points on big plays they got against Colorado, probably not going to be there. I mean, they had a block punt where they started on the Colorado 7. They started possessions on the Colorado side of the field. Colorado's offense was so bad that it made Utah's offense look better than it was. Their passing numbers in that game, keep in mind, Colorado didn't really know what to expect with Ficklin at quarterback. In that game, Utah averaged 6.6 yards per pass attempt, 27% success rate per dropback. Their passing numbers were terrible. Everything was big, explosive runs. You mean to tell me, now that they have that game on film, if Ficklin's starting, that doesn't put Cincinnati's defense in a very advantageous position in terms of play calling? If I'm watching the film with Ficklin last week and I'm Cincinnati, if that game starts and Ficklin's at quarterback, I'm selling out. Like, this dude can't throw it. So I'm selling out to stop the run. And Colorado didn't have that advantage because they didn't know what to expect with Ficklin at quarterback. So I don't think he poses much of a threat throwing the ball. And Cincinnati's secondary has been the strength of the defense. Their weakness has been they've had trouble limiting the run. So I think it really puts Cincinnati in a position where they could sell out to take the run away, force Ficklin to throw the ball. That's if Ficklin plays. At 10.5, how do you not take Cincinnati? I kind of want to bet Cincinnati. I haven't placed a bet, but I kind of want to bet Cincinnati. Jace, what do you think?
This was the other game that I got an awful number on. I got Cincinnati at 7.5, and I love that. So I definitely love Cincinnati at +9 too. Both of Devin, like I said, we don't know if Devin Dampier's playing or not, but both of his battle-tested games this year against BYU and Texas Tech, he didn't even look like he belonged on the field. His decision-making has been awful when it comes, at least in my opinion, when it came to big games. I'm buying high. I love the Cincinnati team. I lost money betting against them when they played Iowa State, but I think they're just coming around. They're coming together. It's playoff time. It's November. I'm not saying that they're going to have a chance for the playoffs, but I mean, in their eyes, they might. I get it playing a night game in Salt Lake, how that could be difficult, but I don't really care who's playing quarterback for Utah. Like what you said, I think Cincinnati's defense, it's a good matchup for them, and I just think they have more experience and more. I really do like Cincinnati's quarterback. He's impressed me this year. Just not necessarily like talent wise, but just kind of the leadership it shows, and it feels like they all play very hard. And I know you said that the running back's out, but out of all the positions for someone to be hurt, star player or not, I feel like running back is one of the easier ones to pick up from, just because it's not like it's a starting center or a right guard or your quarterback, or there's a lot of good running backs in college football. You have to be able to run fast and hold on to the ball, and obviously you got to make some cuts every now and then and do that. I'm not downplaying the position by any means, but if any position I needed some backups to step up, I'm trusting running backs. I mean, you look at A&M. I got to speak about A&M real quick just because they have a bye. A&M has 5 running backs right now that are producing, and they're balling for us. So I think that's not going to be as big of a deal as others might think with the Cincinnati running back being hurt. So I love him at 7.5, and I love him at +9.
You already know after this airs, he's going to be in a Twitter fight. Running backs are going to be like, you could never be a running back.
Oh, yeah. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. It's all, anytime I'm picking, it's like, yeah, this is a casual pick. All right.
But in all seriousness, 9.5, 10.5. If Dampier's playing, I can maybe see a 7. I can maybe see a 7 if Dampier was definitely playing and healthy. We don't know if he's definitely playing. We don't know if he's 100%. If Ficklen's starting, I would have this game at like 3. So, again, another game where I'm kind of way off. But if Dampier's playing and is 100%, I would have it probably at 7. So I do understand why they're considerable favorites, but maybe Dampier's 100% and they're slow playing it. From what I read an article last night, and the way it was phrased, I didn't write it down, but the way it was phrased led me to believe, okay, I think Dampier's going to play. The phrasing that was chosen, but you never know with that. So I think Dampier's going to play based on what was said, but man, he's a guy that relies on his athleticism, so we'll see. But yeah, I think I might bet Cincinnati in this one. Kyle, where can they find your stuff?
Let me say one real quick devil's advocate point to that. If you look at last week's game against Colorado, I think Utah was just getting out of Dodge when they started just running it up the middle, and they get the success rate that was really poor. So, if you factor that in too much, I think, second half, they didn't care if they got yards. They just wanted to be done with the game. I do agree with you though. 10.5. How you get into that from power rating standpoint? Utah didn't look good against Texas Tech. And they gave up a lot of rushing yards in that game too. So again, I kind of like the over, but I think that's a fun game, and it's one that's interesting because you see that line moving, Kyle, and I'm sitting there like, does somebody know something that I don't hear? Because I'm wondering what's going on with this line. And last thing I'll say is Jace was able to mention Texas A&M. I think that was favored at like -125, even though they weren't playing this week.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that he brought up A&M, especially after they took care of LSU, and now Kelly's gone, so I can appreciate that for sure. But yeah, a fun show again. You can check out my work at huntersportspicks.com, free pick newsletter over there. I'm kind of tired today. I think you guys can tell, but it's college basketball starting next week, Kyle. I mean, I've been like looking late at night, reading all the magazines, looking at the press conferences. So you know how busy this time of the year is coming up. So we've got plenty of football games left, college basketball coming up as well. You can check out my Bet US college football show I do as well with Duck and Scott Seidenberg. And Spaces on Friday night. But yeah, fun to chat with you guys as always.
Yeah, basketball doesn't exist to me until Thanksgiving weekend. Once we get to Thanksgiving weekend, then I was like, okay, I have time. I update all my NBA spreadsheets and gather the data that I've missed. And the Monday after Thanksgiving weekend, I'm officially watching and following basketball. But until then, doesn't exist to me yet. Jace, where can they find your stuff?
Yep, follow me on Twitter, Jace Sternberger. And 30-second disclaimer real quick. As the playoffs are approaching, me and Kyle were tweeting at each other the other day. There's obviously a huge debate going on between Big Ten scheduling, SEC scheduling. If anybody ever wants to argue with me, let my stance be known. I am never going to discredit an undefeated team regardless of the conference. I think Ohio State's a great program, but we have to stop comparing scores from previous games because, and I already know what's going to happen. Come bowl game, there's going to be Big Ten and SEC matchups, and Big Ten teams might beat the crap out of SEC and SEC vice versa. Nobody plays in bowl games anymore, so stop using that as a comparison and an argument. Oh, well, Illinois beat South Carolina last week. No, the SEC is spoiled. These kids are spoiled rotten with money. They're not playing in these bowl games. As the season goes on, they're giving up. It's not good to say, but they are. So, again, back to the Arkansas State-Mississippi game, they're playing with house money. None of them are going to be there next year. Who knows what's going to happen? So that's my little rant. Obviously, I'm Team SEC, but I do respect the Big Ten.
Yeah, so that stems from he was going back and forth with some Big Ten Twitter accounts.
I just disrespected the 10 Commandments saying something. And it's like, let's relax, okay?
I like the Big Ten though. I'm not.
I do too. It's a good conference. It's mean, gritty.
Can I just say I like Jace on his soapbox though. I think that's fun.
Yeah, that needs to be a weekly segment. For those of you that don't follow Jace on Twitter, he's always fighting. He's always fighting.
And I fight with SEC people too, because it's like we're not just gonna discredit people, but I hate when people pick and choose scores. They're like, oh well, Arkansas got blown out by Notre Dame. Well, it's like, and they put up 35 against Tennessee, and it's like, man, there's so much that goes into these games. Like, I don't pick scores. That's why I don't bash. Because then it's like, yeah, because Oregon looked amazing against Wisconsin last week. Granted, it was raining really bad, but
no,
us three could score against Wisconsin.
Well, that's not how sports work. They're not linear like that. And college football, more than any sport, I mean, like a team could go out and win 45-0. You can't come away and be like, oh, this team's definitely way better. Like sometimes teams play great. Sometimes teams don't play great. You just got to use the overall body of work. But all right, everyone, have a good night. Talk to you all tomorrow. All right. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for watching. So there are 2 videos up. One where I go through the Thursday night college football games. One where I go through the Thursday night NFL game. Ravens-Dolphins is tomorrow night. So if you haven't heard enough of my voice, there's 2 videos up where I go through. There's a college football video up and an NFL video up.